Welcome, everyone. This is the third month of getting to know yourself, healing with the chakras, knowing about the chakra system, learning about the inner body connection and connectedness that we have. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Coco, spiritual coach, spiritual practitioner, life coach, whichever you like to say. I'm just someone that's here to give you the information and to help. How are you guys doing today? I have like a lot of energy, probably because the sun's out. That is also something that deals with the solar plexus. If you guys haven't been watching these videos, I'm explaining and just breaking down like the chakra system, why it's important, what the colors are, how it correlates with your life, how it represents itself in your life in certain areas, so you can identify it and hopefully, work through it and be at a better end. Because I don't want to say we ever like defeat it, or we don't have to go back to these traumas or problems. Sometimes we do, but if we know where certain issues lie or certain traumas lie or disorganization or dis-ease lies in our body, we are able to nip it in the bud every single time. I'm feeling uninspired today. That could be something with my self-esteem. I'm feeling anxious today. That could be something with my root chakra. So I'm just here to give you the information. And today we're going to be talking about the solar plexus. The solar plexus is literally like the sun of all the chakras. It's pretty much what keeps everything going. It keeps you in a positive mindset. It gets you motivated. It gets you out of bed. Usually it's just like, okay, if there's something that you really want to do and you're passionate about it, that solar plexus is really moving and giving you ideas in your head, giving you reassurance, taking you back to certain memories. It's just like a feeling that overflows from all of your body and puts you usually in a good mood. So understanding the chakra system and the significance of the solar plexus. Well, in this video this week, we're going to be talking about understanding the chakra system and the significance of the solar plexus, exploring the location, the color, the element, recognizing the qualities and imbalances, and then identifying physical and emotional and energetic symptoms of imbalanced solar plexus. So grab your tea. We're going to be here for a little bit. I am drinking strawberry ice, burdock root, and dandelion root. So I put some honey in there. It tastes pretty good. Some of these teas, I'm turning into like a tea girl, and the flavors, like I have a very overactive like senses. Like I can't see pretty well. I'm not even gonna lie. With my actual eyes, I can see. But sometimes, my actual vision needs to be better. But my taste and my nose and like my touch and feel, like it is very sensitive. So some of these roots and teas and herbs are very overbearing. They're just like, they're kind of like overpowering my palate sometimes. And I'm not sure if that's the right word to use, but you guys get it. Let's get back into it. How are you guys feeling today? I hope you're feeling well. I hope that this video brings you joy, happiness, information, and yeah, overall, just like a good time. Let's talk about understanding the chakra system. So the chakra system is and I'm reading over on my notes over here. So a chakra system is a system of energy centers in the body. The solar plexus chakra is located in the upper abdomen, up here, like in this area, where stomach is at. I'm like, where am I at? Associated, and this solar plexus chakra is associated with personal power, confidence, self-esteem, and it plays a vital role in our sense of identity and empowerment. So, this is a lot of information to kind of just download to you guys. So you guys know where it's located. It's associated with identity. Let's talk about identity. When you are most people have like an identity crisis. You might be going through switching jobs. You might feel like you're outgrowing your friends. You might feel like you're not connecting with your family like how you used to. In your relationship, you might feel like you guys, there's like a loss of connection, or maybe you were so consumed in the relationship that like when you try to do things by yourself, you find them unfulfilling. So the solar plexus has a lot to do with the identity, because if you're not happy and you don't know what makes you happy, and you don't know, like you can't differentiate certain things in your life, that's a very blurry line, because now your happiness lies in someone else. And so I also want to talk about personal power because that was the first thing that was brought up. Personal power. What is personal power? Duh. Self-explanatory. You guys know what it is already. But for those who don't, personal power is going to be the power that you withhold inside of yourself. That's decision making, that's critical thinking, that is problem solving for others and for yourself. That's all going to be like self-inflicted on you. So that means that you're getting the information from you and what you think and how you feel versus finding outside sources and then just kind of adopting that way of thinking or that way of living or, you know, that ideology. And so it's very important for you to build personal power by having different experiences, asking people like their opinions. I'm not saying, obviously, I just said don't go to other people for things, but I mean, like, if you're in a situation, I'm gonna give you an example. If you're in a situation where you have to, oh, a good example, switch jobs and you're at a point where like you just been slaving away, you're just like, you know what, I'm coming to the point where this isn't working, and this point in my life, like my job's not working, my kids are getting on my nerves, everything is just like a thumbs down in your life. There's going to be a moment where you don't recognize yourself when you try to get out of that and you try to look for another job, you try to find more friends, you try to talk to people. You have been in a cycle that's conditioned you to kind of like be in the workplace and be there and be accommodating to others and be people pleasing and mind your manners, that you kind of lose a little bit of your self identity. And it's really important for you to be authentic, be charismatic, be opinionated, because in situations where you don't have that job or you don't have whatever you're changing in your life, again, we're using the example as a job. If you don't have like that in your life now, disassociated from that, you don't have anything outside of it, and you can't tell people, like, you can't even have like a regular conversation without bringing up that relationship or that job. That is what I'm saying, that you have to have personal power to understand that there needs to be a balance of who you are as a person and just having personal regular goals and regular hobbies and having a life outside of work or outside of the relationship or outside of like having multiple friendships. I also think it could be very limiting sometimes to people to just have the people that you have at work. And I'm not saying this is for everybody, I'm just saying for some people, having, because it doesn't work for me. So having, going to work and then having like your one group of friends and then also having like your one lover in your life, that is something that can work for people and that can just be very balanced for you. But that doesn't work for me necessarily, because unless the people that I'm going to and the jobs are kind of like me, they're not going to be able to give me the information and the help that I need when I need it. And then I'm going to have to go outside of that and then get mentors and then, you know, ask random strangers and things like that. So it's important to have personal power, because you'll have the information and the will to want to change things in your life versus you only changing things because you think it inconveniences others or you don't think you have any choices. And the only reason why you feel that way is because you're not experiencing. Going back to the experiences, you need to have more experiences so you can know for sure, so you're not going off of what other people say. Next, confidence. Okay. Nowadays, people think that confidence lies in like how beautiful you are, how skinny you are, how perfect your skin is, how long your hair is, how luscious it is. And yeah, these might be good significations that these people are taking care of themselves outwardly, but who knows what's happening like on an internal basis. And I'm letting you know right now, it is, what I'm about to say is a lie, but it also isn't. It's like on two ends of the spectrum. Everyone is dealing with something personally where they feel like other people are judging them. And then there's some people who don't deal with that at all. But I bet you that the people who don't deal with that at all, at some point they do in their life. It's one of those things where people are going to judge you and they're going to put they're going to reflect on you. They're going to put their hurt on you. They're going to put their experiences on you. They're going to judge the things that you're doing because you're not similar to them, and other people are limiting their beliefs by telling them that they can't do it. And I think it's important to understand that if you are a person that's trying to change anything in your life, it is going to be difficult if you ask people that's never experienced it before. It's literally going to be like asking someone, hey, I'm thinking about going to the moon. And you ask your mom, like, Mom, what do you think about going to the moon? Your mother's never been to the moon. She probably hasn't had any plans to go to the moon. That's probably the wrong person to ask. You probably value her opinion, but if it's something that you really like to do and these people are not supportive or they don't really see your vision, first of all, no one's going to see the vision how you see it anyway. So you're going to have to build up enough confidence and self-esteem to know that, like, I'm going to do something and I don't care how people look at me for it. And an example of that, because I'm letting you guys in a little bit of my life, I feel like the guy who I'm dating right now is very skeptical on his decisions because he hasn't experienced somebody like me. But hell, I haven't even experienced somebody like me before. Look at this. What's going on back? Anyway, hey. So he's skeptical sometimes. He's like, I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what you're going to think. Sometimes you're mean. And what it is he hasn't had enough experience with women who are outspoken in a positive way and women who are strong, that I can have a conversation with you, but if my boundaries are crossed, there is going to be a reaction for that. And I feel like I am someone that is very strong in my boundaries. I am very opinionated. I am strong when it comes to my opinions, but it's not familiar to him. So it's like, instead of me tearing him down all the time and saying, like, you know what, you never understand anything, and, matching his energy, I recognize that. But the only way I recognize that is because that used to be me before. I used to be around people who didn't try to understand me. So when I did get around people that did try to understand me, I still wanted to have an attitude. I still wanted to be combative. I still wanted to be manipulative. I wanted to control your emotions and your feelings and how I see things. But it only works in their world. For people who are genuinely trying to be there for you, your tactics are not going to work on them. And that's just how it works, because the overall goal is to bring us together and reconnect and understand that we can rely on one another. And if you are someone that has not had enough experiences, you're going to have to go through these new experiences so you can get the information to say, not everyone is a hurtful person. Not everyone has it out for you. Not everyone is trying to use you, but you have to be in that to actually understand that that's something that you deserve. We deserve this as people. Okay. We deserve this. We deserve this. All right. The tea's kicking in. It's the, I got some in my eye. The tea's kicking in. I put a lot of honey in here. I'm guessing, I don't know. I'm having a good time talking to y'all. But I do feel confidence comes from experience. Confidence comes from choosing yourself over others. And confidence comes from, what can I say? I really feel like if you're trying to be more confident, it comes from experience, and it comes, just by being yourself. The more that you can authentically represent yourself in areas and spaces where you're around different people and energies, that's just going to make you more confident as a person, because you're not so worried about what they're thinking about you. You're there to have a good time. You're focusing on yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that's the key. Boom. And also self-esteem. I want to talk about self-esteem for a second, because if you are someone that is on social media all the time, I feel like I'm going to be attacking someone specifically, and I don't mean to, but I'm just being called to this is what I'm getting in my head. This is the narrative that I'm getting in my head. If you're someone that is on social media all the time, doesn't really take care of your appearance or how your body looks, you don't really look in the mirror, you don't really have a lot of friends, and let's say, I think that's just what it is. I'm not going to try to name anymore and pick, but I think that if you do all of those things, and most likely you're someone who's judgmental, you have low self-esteem and you judge people a lot. I'm not going to lie. I judge people, but I judge people for my own safety. I have to say that you're not a good judge of character because you're a cheater. That's not somebody I should be going into business with. So yeah, I have to judge your character sometimes, because if not, it could harm me. But I feel like I'm not just out here judging people. I feel like watching certain type of TV shows and talking about gossip all the time and talking about what's going on in other people's lives, I find more pleasure talking about myself and things that I'm trying to achieve and goals that I'm trying to achieve. And no offense to those people, but I do think that they have a lower self-esteem because they're caught in a cycle of not taking care of themselves, not thinking that their opinion matters, being around people who don't value their opinion. And the more you're into that, you adapt to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you eat so many tacos, you're gonna look like a taco. Side note, I'm gonna have veggie chili fries and a bean burger tonight. Doesn't that sound so good? Veganism is, it could be there. It could be you. It could be you. It could be me. I'm trying. We're trying it out. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I think that self-esteem is important. It correlates to to the solar plexus, because I feel like this is the area of your life where when you're not confident and you have low self-esteem, you also make bad judgment, and then you also judge others, and then now you're in the group with people that you think that you're judging, because it's like there's no way in the world that you are separated from the people that you're making fun of at all. There's no universe that doesn't exist, because what you are is kind of like what you think is what you are. That's where your attention's at. So if your attention is on talking poorly on other people, talking about on yourself, oh, I can't do it, I've never done this before, it's a pity party. Nobody likes to be around that. So most likely you're attracting people who probably have bad attitudes, who don't give you, like, they're chastising you rather than giving you advice and actually caring for you as a person. They're not very helpful. I'm pretty sure these type of people are not, they don't have people around them that are helpful, that are just like, hey, I'll do this for you just because, like, I'm a nice person. And then it's a whole mindset thing. I don't want to get too deep into it because I can go really far on the scale when it comes to self-esteem, power, and confidence, and what's really influencing that. And so having a routine, being around people, we're talking about wanting to change. So let me stay on that topic. With your solar plexus, when you're trying to change things in your life and you're trying to be a better person, or you came here for this video to get the information, you'll know that your solar plexus is active and it's working when you do have personal power, confidence, and self-esteem. And it's at a high level where even sometimes people could compliment you on it, but your concerns aren't going to be the person's concerns. So let's talk next about, we'll get into that, because it says it plays a vital role in sense of identity and empowerment. So if you're someone that has your solar plexus is blocked, and you know, it's not that light that we want it to be. If you think about the solar plexus like the sun, we can't even think about it like the sun, because the sun is always beaming. If we think about it just like a light, and the light that dims and, like, you know, expands, I feel like when you have a low sacral chakra and it's blocked, it's gonna come close like a really small light, like a tea light candle that's like almost about to go out. But when you have a large, like, you know, love for yourself and appreciation and confidence, that solar plexus is just gonna like burst through. And I want to give you guys a different analogy with the drawing, but your solar plexus, like, energy is just gonna like burst through. You're gonna feel good, you're gonna be making positive decisions, you're gonna be encouraging others, you're gonna, you know, not look at things in the same type of light. You're gonna look at you wanting to help people as a plus for you. It's going to be something positive for you, versus some people think that helping people is a burden to them. So I think that you'll start to understand yourself more when you work on your self-esteem, you work on your confidence, you work on choosing yourself, you work on all aspects of yourself. Because sometimes, even with my mentor, he was somebody that just he was like, you know what? I don't got to take a shower. I eat really good. I only drink green juice, like brushing my teeth. Everything's good. I'm going to just use everything natural. But then there was a point where he had to come to his own reality and be like, you know what? I feel like I need to change. I feel like I need something different. And he had a rebirth ceremony. And I was like, okay. Oh, fuck. I was like, I had a flashback. That was a very crazy night, but I met my friend there. Okay, anyways. He had a ceremony for his like leveling up, and he got like a new hairstyle. He's a new person now. Like, he's dressing different, but there was a reality that he had to come to and look in the mirror and be like, okay, everything else in my life is on point, and what other thing am I not working on? And usually you guys have to realize that these bodies that we live in are important. Just because we have a spirit, just because you have a soul, just because you have emotions and you're experiencing things in first person, doesn't mean that your body's not important. And I'm not saying that you should take vanity, you should abuse like vanity and like, you know what I'm saying, like get the plastic surgery, but why not take care of your body? Why not like give back to yourself and make it feel good so you're not tired in the morning, so your brain can work harder, so your heart can work harder, and it's only going to push you further and get you to places faster. Okay, so empower yourself, and a good way to kind of boost your self-confidence and your self-esteem, give compliments to other people, give people information, help them out where they need it. If you have extra and you're just like, dang, I don't really know what to do with my life and I'm just kind of like stuck and I've tried everything, how about you try working on your physical appearance? Because a lot of people forget that and they're just like, you should take me as I am. I take you for how you are, but why not be the best version of yourself as well in every area? I also like to explain life like an equalizer board. And let's say we have 10 dials, right? And you have charisma all the way up. What's another one? Discipline all the way up. Being a kind person all the way up. You're a great problem solver all the way up. But then when it comes to confidence and self-esteem, you never want the light to be on you. So those dials are all the way down. Why all these things are, you're maxing out, baby. Over at the top, like at the top, you are maxed out on all these other levels and all these other, you know what I'm saying, sounds, noises, all the dials are up. You need to start focusing on the dials that are turned down, that you keep trying to have other people turn away from you. No, I don't think I would be good at that. You're a great sword. You should put it on like, no, I don't want to do that. If people are telling you that you're good at something and you're complaining that you're good at nothing, you are choosing to have a self-pity party, because you are still on this side of the fence where you think that feeling bad for yourself is going to give you the attention and boost that you want. But technically, you're just stuck in the cycle of people feeling bad for you and having pity for you and saying, oh, poor you, poor you. That's the only narrative that it's going to be. It's only going to be poor you. It's never going to be let me help you, because you're around the same people who are saying, oh, I see you sitting there, but you're, oh, wow, well, you're just going to sit on the curb. They're not going to come pick you up from off the curb because they can't even pick themselves up the curb. That's why you don't see the life that you want in these people. I'm talking to somebody when I'm saying that. I'm like, I'm talking to myself. Oh man. Okay. We're already on 22 minutes and I have 3 more subjects. Okay. Exploring the location. Okay, so we explored the location. The solar plexus chakra is located in the upper abdomen near the diaphragm. Diaphragm right here under the titties. Excuse me. This isn't for kids anyways, but and is the color typically described as yellow, representing warmth, energy, and vitality. The element associated with the solar plexus chakra is fire, symbolizing transformation, power, and willpower. And I told you guys in the last videos and last month that the sacral chakra is a build up to the solar plexus. So when you have the root chakra and the sacral chakra in sync, that solar plexus is going to be hitting every time. You got the security, you got the passion for it. Now let's put the confidence into it and, like, you know, let's mix shit up for real, for real. I was like, I got too excited about that. But yeah, wearing the color yellow is going to obviously put you in a better mood. We're having yellow crystals, yellow selenite. What's another yellow crystal? I was like, there's not very many yellow crystals, but yellow selenite's going to be good. I'm forgetting it. Tiger's eye is going to be really good. We'll talk about crystals in a second. It's going to be in later, weeks. I think it's next week we're going to be talking about it and healing techniques that we can use. But yeah, wearing the color and just being around, that's why they say being in the sun, it gives you vitamin D, and people are like, oh my God, people are like vitamin D deficient. Let me take some pills. Get your ass out in the sun and go put your feet in the sand or in the dirt. Sit in the sun, just let it hit you, let it hit all over your body. If you can't get naked and get in the sun. I'm telling you, that's going to be the best for you. It's going to make you feel good. If I know some of you guys have heard people say that they've been like sun drunk before. It feels good. It's going to give your body like a all over like wash of revitalization. And so I was like, yeah, that's what that. I was like, you guys know where it's at. I think also doing a lot of breathing techniques, because obviously breathing techniques. If you guys have been watching, we've been talking about breathing techniques and different type of techniques that you can use. They're going to be the same techniques, y'all. You're just going to have to use different regimens or different, I guess, techniques. They're going to be different. It's going to be the same exercises that we're doing, but different techniques. I hope that helps for terminology for some of y'all. But doing like just really deep, like and just releasing like really deep breaths are going to be great for the solar plexus. It's going to also clear up a lot of like the air pockets that we have in our lungs. If you smoke weed or if you smoke anything, it's going to help with that. Also doing like some really like wide stretches as you're doing it, and just like kind of curling your back is going to be great. Any movement that you can do and any breaths that you can do that are going to expand that diaphragm area is going to be great. Also, because it says it's symbolizing fire, again, that's what's going to get you up and ignited every morning. So I think once you guys start giving more back to yourself, I feel like the sacral chakra has to do, the solar plexus, I'm sorry, has a lot to do with giving back to yourself. Because if you haven't experienced something before and you never experienced being confident or putting yourself first, it's going to be super scary, and you're going to have to ignore people. You're going to have to be in your own zone. You're going to have to find things that you like. You're going to have to spend a lot of time by yourself. And by doing that, you're only going to get to know yourself better. So you are more comfortable around people that you can actually hear your own voice and not other people's narratives. And that's going to be able to give you like the extra start and ignition that you need to put your life in a more positive direction. I definitely think y'all need, I'm like, y'all, me, it's me. I'm talking to me too. I love you guys. I'm talking to me too. I definitely think that just doing things that you want to do, being silly, having fun, hula hooping, doing things I used to do as a kid is going to also ignite that. There's something about the solar plexus and it having just like that energy and kindred spirit and energy of just like a kid. If you guys just see kids play outside, they're just screaming, jumping, just so silly. And that's the kind of energy and confidence that you need to have in yourself. If you have a conversation with a child, they're going to trail you straight up. I watched this video and this woman was like, I'm going to talk to my kid like a passive aggressive girlfriend or like a something type of girlfriend, insecure girlfriend. And she was like, do you love me? He was like, yeah. And then she was telling her son, she was like, would you love me as a worm? He said, no. They're going to be 100% honest. So it's kind of like the games that we play as adults and the things that we've learned and the manipulation and the ignorance and or the avoidance and the just like I would say manipulation tactics that we've learned as we got older. It almost is like every time you got hurt as a kid, there was a different board for a boundary. So it's just like someone lied to me, someone didn't show up, someone betrayed me, and every time someone did something to you, there was a board up. So now when you talk to people, there's a specific way that you talk so you don't offend people, but then you also get what you want. And you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that. I don't want to go into too much description, but I know that you guys talk to people sometimes that kind of like maneuver what you want or kind of get to people to like, you know, like the angle that you want. And there's nothing wrong with that, but also being straight up, there's nothing wrong with that either. You'll actually find that there's going to be people doing the things that you want, and you could just ask them and they'll say yes, rather than trying to manipulate somebody or the person that you want to say yes to actually do it, because it just might not be destined for you. We're not even going to talk about the actual spiritual side with God, G, O-O-D, D. Okay. So, we're not going to talk about that because it's a higher, there's already bigger things into existence. And so when we try to manipulate people, and it usually doesn't work out, or it'll work out, but you have to keep manipulating them. And now you're a liar. And now you're in situations that you don't want. You could have just been honest from the jump, and you could have had a lot more, and someone would have gave that what you asked and everything else to you. That's why I'm a person of, if a person's only going to say yes or no, okay, you said no, someone else is going to say yes. I don't know what you want me to do with that. Do what you will with that information. Stop manipulating people, because now the people that you're manipulating, eventually when they find out, they're going to think you're a liar. And if you don't want to be a liar, why are you manipulating people? It's the words, not me, psych. It was me. I said it. I take responsibility. Yeah, so let's talk about how fire symbolizes transformation, power, and willpower. So I don't know if you guys ever, I think a really good exercise, we'll probably mention it next week too, is like fire gazing and like gazing into like a flame. That's going to really ignite. I found out such good information. I don't know if I told you the last video, but our eyes, and this is, I'm just expressing like a theory that I find very interesting to me, and it's not a theory. I was just thinking, and here are some of my thoughts. Okay, our eyes, our actual pupils, and like the retina part, it's the pupil part. It's the pupil part that actually like we can see out of. It is like hollow. It's like in a cone shape and it's hollow, so there's nothing in there. Like there's no physical matter that's in there. It's actually attracting light so it can hit a nerve and then, you know, report to our brain of what we're seeing. And we're not seeing things in motion. Our brains and our eyes are actually taking very fast like clips and pictures, and then we're putting it together as a whole movie, just like how we record videos. So when we're seeing things with our eyes, and we're seeing like we're seeing, let's see, like as you're watching my video right now, I'll use this as an example. Depending on how many videos that you watch of me, there's going to be like a mental memory bank that our eyes take. And so when it comes to like transformation, how we see people, are depending on what you watch throughout the day and how many clips that you take of things and what you're watching, sometimes things can be distorted. And so that's why a lot of the time our memory is poor, because we're not remembering every single clip. Like our body has to do so much. We have to remember like visual things, and then our ears have to hear things, and then also pair up with our mental and like our sight, and it's a whole system. So that's why it's hard sometimes if you don't have, we're talking about the flame though. Excuse me. Transformation, power, and willpower. So with this, and you guys know that what you intake is super important, like what you watch, the people that you talk to. If people are around you and they're inputting negative into you all the time, and they're not giving you any explanation, you're not receiving like prosperity on the other side, most likely you're going to experience a life that you're formulating for yourself. It's just like you have a bunch of things, like you have some good things, you have some bad things, you have some medium things. But if majority of the things are like medium and bad, your life is going to be random. Like random good things are going to happen to you all the time, because that's what you're intaking. So it's really important for you to change the conversations that you're having, change the type of people that you're around, so you can see different things, so you can see new things, so new experiences can happen to you. And so what I was going to say with like the fire and transformation is, the transformation comes, and the willpower and power comes by you getting to know yourself and having discipline and the type of intake that you have. If you're somebody that's saying, I want to make $1 million a year, and you don't do shit but have ideas in your head, that's not going to work. I'm sorry, it's just not. And I feel like for myself, I'm a dreamer all day. I fantasize all day. I imagine all day, but I am also a doer. There's no point of me imagining all day if I'm not putting it to action, because how do I even know that that's a reality if I've never experienced it? And so again, going back to building up your confidence and your willpower, you'll feel more confident when you know something is for sure. 33 when I said that, you know, you're more confident when you can be like, I've experienced that actually 5 times, and every single time it wasn't like that for me. And then if that's the case and you feel like, damn, someone's really shattering my reality because I've experienced this so many times and that's never happened to me. Now it's up to you to go to that person. And I hate to say it, this is what type of person I am. It's up to you to go to that person and say, oh, that was your experience. I've experienced this 5 times. Show me that that's your experience. And most of the time, people don't want to show you that because they're talking out their ass and they've only experienced it once or twice. So the more you experience something, the more confidence that you're going to have, because when you build the confidence, the willpower comes after that. Because once you're for sure about something and you experienced it and you're confident about it, that willpower is going to pull you even further, because you know what things are like already. You realized it, pimp it, and I'm proud of y'all for that. You're wonderful. You're great. You're amazing. Yeah. So, all that comes into play when you guys Start calling people on their shit. Experience some things so you can be like, yeah, I experienced that 5, 12, 13. You can put a number to it if you want. I know when something doesn't feel good for me the first time, and after that, I'll experience it the second time. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not it. And if I don't see change in that area, I'm most likely not going back to it. And an example of that is if I meet somebody and they give me weird energy, I probably don't want to talk to you again. But if I have to talk to you again and I get a different type of vibe, now it's weighing out. Now I have 2 experiences. Let's look at the probabilities, because y'all like to look at science and math. Now I have one good. Now I got one bad. And now I got to experience it one more time to see what the initial reaction is of it. I already know for myself from the first initial time I wasn't going to like it, but for the sake of this video, you can experience it a third time to make a final decision. But when you're in tune and your intuition's on point, and you know that sometimes first impressions are everything, you wouldn't risk that for nothing. No, you just wouldn't. Sometimes I know I'm going to have to work with people in the future, so I try not to treat them poorly. And then sometimes people are like, oh, we shouldn't talk shit about people. I'm not talking shit. I'm talking about the experience that I had with them. And if you find that offensive, then maybe you should treat people differently. Okay, we're going to go on to the next subject. So recognizing the qualities and imbalances of the solar plexus. The solar plexus is characterized by qualities such as personal power, confidence, self-discipline, and motivation. Imbalances in the chakra can manifest as low self-esteem, lack of motivation, indecisiveness, or controlling behavior. I know a lot of y'all got a weak solar plexus. I'm sorry, me too. Sometimes it's me too. And you guys, it's in a wave, okay? So it's never like, did you guys like my wave? That was like a different type of wave. Anyways, it's not like you're going to be happy all the time. You're not going to be confident all the time. You're not going to, and if sometimes it looks like you're confident to other people, like people think that I'm a really confident person. I can be a really confident person, but I still have anxiety. I don't want to talk in front of 50 people. Even making these videos sometimes, like a lot of people don't watch it, so I'm cool. So I'm saying whatever. But if I get to a point where I'm just like, oh shit, like 15,000 people are watching me, I'm gonna have to tighten things up and make sure that, you know, I'm not offending people, or just step into, like, that's like, you're gonna have to choose a side at one point. And I feel like when you're somebody that is trying to manipulate people and you're trying to get people to see how you see things instead of trying to empathize with the other person and just saying, hey, this is the reality and this is how we can move on from it, most likely you're still in that manipulative energy. And I think the reason we all are, because sometimes, I'm not saying you specifically, but we all can be manipulative. But the reason why you do that is because you don't have enough experience in the conversation that you're having, or the work that you're, or workplace that you're had, or the friendship or the relationship. Some things might be new to you and it's scary. So you try to manipulate the situation into something that doesn't feel so harmful to you or unfamiliar to you. I get it. We're all people, but the more that you do that, the more that you're going to feel unbalanced, the more that you're going to feel like you have to be deceitful. Like you're going to move into this space where you're like, I don't even recognize myself anymore, because you're just not truthful. I feel you have a problem with telling the truth when, I feel as people, I'll say we, as people, we have the problem of telling the truth because we think others are going to judge us. But in reality, you need to look at why you feel like you need to lie in the first place. Because if you think that people are going to judge you because of whatever you're not trying to represent and you're doing something different, people are still judging you in that same sense. And most people can catch on to energy. People can catch if you're bullshitting. People can catch if you're lying. They don't bring it up to you because they don't want to make you feel like shit. But people are judging you just like how you judge other people in their head. Like if someone did something crazy outside or something stupid outside, it's almost like, that's a dumb motherfucker. Am I going to say, yell across the street, that's a dumb motherfucker? I'm not. Sorry, I have to be that literal. But it's just like, I feel like when I explain things sometimes, we don't understand like the full concept of, just because you're not intentionally manipulating someone, it could be something as simple as, oh, I need a ride to work. Last time I asked them for a ride to work, they got upset. So let me try to give them breakfast. And let's say you're not giving them money, because it's different if it's a transaction. And I feel like in other videos, we'll talk more about how everything is transactional, because energy doesn't dissipate and disappear. Like energy is ongoing, so everything's going to be transactional. But if you necessarily aren't giving them money and you're not doing anything and you're just asking for a favor, and you know that you are in debt from them asking them favors, you might be somebody that's just like, hey, I let me try to do something nice for them and, like, you know, wake them up happy, or let me finally clean the bathroom. I'm just giving you guys examples. Like, let me finally clean the bathroom and then ask them for a favor. That's very manipulative, because if you know that you should have, that cleaning the bathroom is going to help out anyways, why didn't you do that? And then also it's the fact that you do something nice and then ask for something. That is very manipulative, and that's a tactic that people use in sales to get people to buy stuff. Like, it's like, oh, you look so beautiful. Even like, oh, you look so beautiful. Let me ask you for something. Or even women do that. Women are just like, oh, babe, you just look so strong today, and you just work so hard. Like, can I have some money? Or can you take me to like this place? That's also what children do. And children do it because they don't know that they're doing it. And sometimes they do, but they don't understand why it's bad. As adults, we 100% know why it's bad. You need to make your decisions and fucking lie in it. And a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people are just like, I'm going to make this decision and try not to get caught, so I don't have to like be pointed out on the things that, like, you know, I'm not doing correctly, or the things that I said that I was going to do, or I don't want to be pointed out for the things that I'm not doing. If you know that there's things that you should be doing, why not just do it and then ask, you know what I'm saying? And then ask for whatever you need. So I'm just trying to give you guys some insight on why sometimes you don't feel like you are confident enough, or you don't feel like you need people's help. Let's also talk about people. This is a long video. I'm a go through these last two ones pretty quick, but because it's very simple, but I feel like you'll understand that, like, you guys don't even like to ask people for help because you feel that you're not worthy. And even deeper, a lot of you guys don't even like to ask for help because you don't want people asking you for help. And that's not even what it is. Let me be more specific. A lot of you guys don't ask for help because, one, you want to be seen as strong. Excuse me. But you also, like, you don't want to be seen as weak. Sorry. You don't want to be seen as weak, so you don't ask for help. But then you ask other people for help. Sorry, what am I saying? Let me start over. Let's clean the slate with that. I'm not editing it out. A lot of people, that's why I'm having to start over so much. As people, we, sorry, I felt like there was something weird going on of like me getting that out to you. But I feel like as people, we don't ask for help. It's because Spirit wanted me to include myself as well. As people, we don't ask for help because we don't want to look weak. And then we help other people because we want to look strong, right? It's like, oh, I have everything together. Yeah, I can help you. Also, I could be a people pleaser, so I'm going to help you. And then when it comes to the actual time of us like needing help, we say, nobody's here for us. So it's like, what? You don't want to tell people that you need help because you want to look strong and you think that you have it together and you want to say that you've done everything by yourself. But yet when you're in an actual situation where you actually need help, that's where your solar plexus is supposed to kick in, because if you know that you're around people that aren't going to judge you for needing help, you're going to ask for help more. But a lot of people are not around people. You guys are asking the same people, your mom, your dad, your sister, your cousin, your one friend. All these people chastise you of asking for help, and that's because they also have low self-esteem, no confidence. And so once you get around people who actually have some self-esteem and confidence, it's nothing to ask them for help. A lot of people don't really, sometimes, people do ask me for help, but it's also when people tell me problems, I try to be a solver for them so they eventually don't have to ask for help. But that's something that I'm good at. I'm not saying that you have to do that. That's something that I'm good at. And I feel like the more you work on yourself, the more you give back to yourself, you're going to be like, I deserve these things. Take yourself out on a date. Go get the pedicure. Go get like the facial. Do something that's outside of your spectrum so you can say, you know what? I deserve good things, and nothing happens. Like once you do something and you make a choice for yourself, nothing happens. You still live the next day. You wake up the next day. You get to make choices. You're not the person from yesterday. You can make better choices. You can make also poorer choices. So it's like, just be really aware of like how you're coming off. People are going to judge you anyways, because if you're someone that thinks that if you are someone who feels people are judging you because you don't want to look weak and because you don't like need help, they see that already. They see that you're someone that doesn't ask for help, and you're like, you're so prideful that you don't ask for help. So they're still looking at you as somebody weak. And that's just what it is. So we're going to go on to the next. Let's talk about self-discipline too. So a lot of you guys lack self-discipline and motivation because you have a low vibing solar plexus. And I think that it's very important to say, again, giving back to yourself, being super judgmental, stop being around so many people, get out of social media, start taking care of yourself. That's where you're going to see your solar plexus thrive. When you choose yourself and do things for yourself and nourish yourself and make sure that you're good, you're going to see that your solar plexus is going to be more illuminated than you could ever think. Okay. I also wanted to get into, these other topics because I've been on here for a while. Yeah, and controlling behavior. I already named them for you guys, so you know what it is. You know what the examples are. You know the people who have a low solar plexus because they're always trying to I don't want to get into it because I'm going to get into way too many examples of how people can control you because it's different ways. And I'm not like a behavioral specialist, so we're not going to get into that. Identifying common physical and emotional energetic symptoms of an imbalanced solar plexus chakra is physically, it can lead to digestive issues, stomach ulcers, and adrenal fatigue. Emotionally, it can result in low self-confidence, fear or rejection, or difficulty asserting oneself. Energetically, it may cause a blockage in the flow of personal power and hinder the ability to manifest goals and desires. I will say that sounded like really complex for you guys, and also really easy at the same time. But you guys will, if you have like any type of stomach issues, most likely you're doing something that you don't like. You don't like the job that you're at. You don't like the people that you're around. You're having to make yourself smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, that it's sitting in your stomach. And then it's like, oh, you feel all bad and you feel horrible. And you're like, oh, I hate being around my grandma, but someone needs to take care of her. I hate you. Nah, I hate you, but fuck that grandma. I'm not saying because I'm not saying your grandma's a wonderful person. I'm just saying, like, if your grandma's a horrible person and no one else is taking care of her and she's someone that is still capable of doing things for herself, maybe it's time for you to kind of like put her in a home or have someone else take care of her. Start having conversations, because it's giving you literally health issues. And I hate to say it, you guys, I love you guys so much, but our family eventually becomes, our immediate family, like sister, brother, usually becomes extended family when we get into a relationship and start a family or trying to start a family. So if you are in a relationship and you are taking care of someone that is outside of your spectrum and you feel like all the like baggage is on you and opinions are on you and assumptions are on you and workload is on you, it's time to give up some of that, because is your life, and you could die from these issues. Some people suppress their like emotional and like self-confidence, and self-esteem. They just suppress it so much that they actually have like cancer, like intestinal cancer and things like that, and it does show up in different ways. So I do want to let you guys know that if you're having trouble of having conversations, you're also more than welcome to hit me up like on social media. I don't really respond on YouTube, but on my Project Trilogy Inc. page on Instagram, you guys can ask me questions or, ask me to make videos on examples or what things look like or whatever you have questions on. I might not know all of it, but when it comes to like sacral chakra, I keep saying sacral because we were talking about it for like forever. It was a whole month. When we talk about the solar plexus and yourself and like what it looks like and just ways to heal, I'm here for it and I can help you out. And yeah, again, that's what I'm here for. So a big signification of having an imbalanced solar plexus is stomach issues. And I feel like I have this too. 12:12 on the clock when I'm saying this. I feel like I have, and you know what it is? I'm going to give you guys an example of the issues that I have. So my stomach issues, I used to have ulcers when I was married back in 2014. it was like my second year of being married, and I was just like, fuck. He was trying to move me closer to my family. He was also yelling at me. He was like being super aggressive and like physically like harmful and neglectful as well, emotionally neglectful. Like there was so much going on, and I was just so suppressed and tired and like And I just felt so bad about myself. I was gaining weight. I was overeating. I was eating poor food, and all of that changed when I found out that like I was being emotional over somebody that didn't understand themselves. Like we got married at a young age, and he didn't even know that like he didn't even have to get married at a young age and be in a relationship and have to prove things to people. And that's the narrative that I fit into his life. So I was somebody that was just kind of like not a placeholder, but I was somebody that was supposed to be kind of like penciled in his life. Like it could have been me or whoever. He just needed somebody to be there that he liked enough to treat like this and to get extra money and to show people that like, this is what I'm doing in my life. So he wanted to impress other people and try to have his life together, because the people around them had their lives at a place where it's just like they had a wife was at home cooking, making lunches, all this extra stuff. And me, I was a student at the time and I was babysitting. So I was like a nanny and going to school at the same time, full time. And that's not the life that I had. Like I was nannying kids, not a grown man. And so he was like, you're the one, like, you're going to be a great childbearing woman. And it's just kind of like, it's my fault too, because I needed to get out of the place that I was in so bad that I agreed to something that initially I didn't have the information, the experience to make better choices. And I didn't have people around me to help me make better choices because they were not in places that I wanted to see myself. The people around me had kids. I didn't want to have kids at the time. So I'm not going to ask for your advice because you're in a place where you're not able to make cognitive decisions for yourself that are not based on someone else that you're not supporting. And then I couldn't ask my parents because they've been married for such a long time, but they also raised me in an environment that was emotionally neglectful. It was toxic in the household. Yes, there was a household. Yes, we had food and I got to experience like outside activities as a kid, but there was no emotional bonding when it came to like my family. And they made me a really good worker, but they didn't make me a really good wife. And I feel like the traditional wife that we have is a fucking slave, and that's not what I'm going to be doing. And he was Haitian. So it was like, things didn't work out. Anywho, I suppressed my emotions for so long, and I tried to go to school and go to cosmetology. He was like, you want to go to cosmetology school? I was like, yeah, but it was so stressful. I was literally at school for like 48 hours a week of just school. And that's not me coming home cooking and trying to find something to eat. He was working at a food place. This is too much in my business. Anyways, I was doing things that I didn't know that here's a sign. I was doing things that I didn't know that I didn't want to do. And I was doing things that I thought that would make me happy because I'm not asking the questions to myself. And there was nobody around me to help me to ask the questions or to figure out what I actually wanted or to help me figure out who I truly am or just experience that. There was no leverage. There was no place for me to like outsource. When I looked up and I looked out, I saw weeds and dead land everywhere. So there was no growth around me. And it gave me ulcers. I went to the doctor and I was having ulcers and my stomach was eating itself, and he was trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and it was him, and he was the issue. He was making everything difficult for me. Like, he didn't know how to emotionally be there for me. He was somebody that always yelled, and I could have just got myself out of that situation, and I tried to, and then it became abusive. So it's just like, take the signs in the beginning. If there's no growth in these areas, most likely it's not going to work. You can't force people to do things that you want to do. You can only take responsibility for what you're supposed to do and the things that make you happy. And I'm not saying like be selfish and be like, oh, well, I'm supposed to do the things that make me happy, so fuck this relationship. Or, like, not even, it's just like, oh, well, I can't be happy in this relationship and go play basketball with my friends, so I'm going to get rid of the relationship. Like, I feel like some people are a little bit, you guys get it, they're not all the way there, so they're going to make drastic decisions like that. Or they're going to say, oh, well, and here's something also drastic that I feel like people do to manipulate other people. I told this guy that I didn't appreciate him liking girls' pictures and stuff on Instagram. And I was like, if you want to date me, I'm going to need you to get rid of the women who don't create any value in your life or that I haven't met, because if you're trying to create a life with me, these are outside distractions of people who you shouldn't be knowing what's going on in your life, because if I'm not a priority to you, that's the issue for me, and I'm going to choose somebody that's going to make me a priority. He said, fine, I'll delete the whole social media. Social media isn't a big thing to me. It is a big thing to you because you feel like you have to delete it, and all he was going to do is probably block me. So I just think that people can be manipulative, but stand strong on your boundaries on things that you know that make you feel good, because you've experienced enough times to know that it made you feel bad. Okay. And so, ooh, we're getting into so much, but I definitely think the more that you understand, there's nothing to fear. When you're fearing something, and I told my client this, if you're fearing something, most likely you're already in what you're fearing. So if your fear is, oh my God, I'm not going to have enough money to pay the bills, you're already living in your fear. You don't have enough money to pay the bills. Look at your bank account. You're waiting for some more money to come in. You're already living there. So until that date comes up, and until you can find other ways, just be patient. Let the days go by. Be hopeful. Be prosperous. Keep working. Keep networking. Keep being around people. Keep being around positive people. Keep forcing yourself in different places until it works for you. Because I promise, if you just sit there, nothing is going to work out in your favor, because you're going to be going in the same cycle, and there's nothing in the equation that's going to change the answer. So I hope you guys like this video. I appreciate you for watching. It was a lot. I know I get a little bit abrasive in the videos and I get a little sidetracked, but I appreciate you guys being here. I hope it was really good information. A lot of the solar plexus has to do with a lot of the everyday choices that we make in life, and your life will start to take a change in a positive direction once you start understanding that you're worth it and self-care is worth it. And yeah, the little bit of planning and structure never hurt anybody. So I love you guys. I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Comment what makes you happy most down in the comments. I'd like to see like what you guys do to make yourselves happy, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.